Before we get into charts, setups, or strategies, let me tell you a short story. Years ago, deep in a forest that never slept, two animals hunted every single day. One was fast, loud, always moving. The other was quiet, almost invisible. The fast one chased everything. Every sound, every shadow. When it missed, it chased harder. By nightfall, it was exhausted, angry at the forest, angry at itself, blaming the world for empty stomachs. The quiet one didn't move much at all. It watched. It waited. Sometimes for hours. And when it finally moved, it never missed. Most traders enter the market like the first animal. They see a candle move and their heart starts racing. They jump into trades they didn't plan. They refresh their screen every few seconds. One loss turns into two. Two turns into revenge trading. After months, or years, they don't quit because they're bad at trading. They quit because they're mentally burned out. This video is not about indicators. It's not about entries or secret strategies. It's about why some traders survive long enough to become profitable, while others quietly disappear. Because the market doesn't reward speed. It rewards restraint. Patient traders don't feel smarter. They don't feel braver. In fact, they often feel bored. While everyone else is chasing movement, they're protecting energy. While others are clicking buy and sell, they're doing the hardest thing in trading. Nothing. And that's where most people fail. If you've ever felt tired after a trading session. If you've ever overtraded even when you knew better. If you've ever wondered how some traders stay calm while chaos destroys others, then stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll understand why patience isn't a personality trait. It's a weapon. And why the traders who move less, think slower, and wait longer are the ones who quietly win, while the rest burn out trying to be fast. 1. The trap almost everyone falls into. The first time most people lose real money in the market, it doesn't feel dramatic. There's no explosion. No warning siren. It usually starts small. A trade that almost worked. A setup that looked clean, until it wasn't. You tell yourself, it's fine. I'll get it back on the next one. And that single sentence is where the trap opens. I remember watching a trader, smart guy, disciplined on paper, sit in front of his laptop late at night. The room was quiet except for the sound of charts updating. He had already taken his trade for the day. It lost. According to his rules, he was done. But the market kept moving. A candle pushed higher. Another setup appeared. His hand hovered over the mouse. He didn't feel greedy. He felt uncomfortable. Uncomfortable doing nothing, so he clicked. That trade lost too. Now it wasn't about money anymore. It was about fixing the feeling. About proving the market wrong. About getting back to even so he could sleep without replaying the loss in his head. One trade turned into 5. 5 turned into 10. By the time the session ended, the damage wasn't just in his account. It was in his confidence. His energy. His trust in himself. This is how burnout begins, not with recklessness, but with impatience disguised as opportunity. The market is brilliant at this. It looks like it's offering you chances all the time. Movement feels like invitation. Silence feels like danger. Doing nothing feels like missing out. But here's the truth no one tells you early enough. Most trades aren't opportunities. They're tests. Tests of whether you can sit still while your mind begs for action. The impatient trader believes activity equals progress. The patient trader understands something far more important. Survival comes first. Because once you're emotionally drained, your edge disappears. Your rules blur. Your execution weakens. And from the outside, it looks like you're still trading, but internally, you're just reacting. This is why so many traders don't fail loudly. They fade. They slowly lose the calm required to make good decisions. And the market doesn't punish that immediately. It waits, and then it takes everything at once. 2. Why waiting feels like pain. There's a moment every trader knows but rarely talks about. You're flat. No position. Chart moving. Your rules say wait. But your body doesn't agree. Your leg starts bouncing. You lean closer to the screen. Your eyes scan for anything that justifies a trade. Not because it's there, but because being inactive feels wrong. Almost stressful. That feeling isn't weakness. It's biology. I once heard a veteran trader describe waiting as itching without being allowed to scratch. And that's exactly what it is. Your brain is wired to seek resolution. Movement promises relief. Clicking a button feels like control, even when it isn't. Early in my journey, I watched a fox outside a rural house where I stayed for a few weeks. Every morning, it appeared near the edge of a field. It didn't pace. It didn't chase birds. It barely moved at all. Sometimes it would sit there so long I forgot it was real. Then, suddenly, it would strike. One clean motion. No hesitation. No wasted energy. And just like that, it was gone. That fox wasn't calm because it was confident. It was calm because it understood timing. Most traders do the opposite. They stalk the market like anxious predators, reacting to every tick, burning energy on moves that don't matter. By the time a real opportunity appears, they're already tired. Emotionally thin. Mentally sloppy. This is where patience separates into two types. Passive waiting and active waiting. Passive waiting is boredom. Active waiting is work. It's observing without touching. It's letting 10 setups pass because 9 of them don't meet your standards. It's knowing exactly why you're not trading and being okay with that answer. The problem is, active waiting doesn't feel productive. There's no dopamine hit. No instant feedback. No small win to reassure you that you're doing something right. So traders abandon it. They trade to feel useful. They trade to feel involved. They trade to escape the discomfort of stillness. And the market rewards them with noise, not results. If you've ever ended a session feeling exhausted without knowing why, this is the reason. You weren't fighting the market. You were fighting yourself. 3. The day everything slowed down. There's a strange moment that happens to patient traders. It doesn't arrive with a big win. It doesn't come after a perfect trade. It shows up quietly, on a day when nothing happens. I remember one trader telling me about a session he almost quit. The market was open, price was moving, setups were forming, and he took none of them. Not because he was scared. Not because he was unsure. Because none of them were right. By the end of the day, he felt irritated. Unproductive. Almost foolish for sitting there doing nothing. But later that night, as he replayed the charts, something odd stood out. Every trade he didn't take would have lost. That was the first time he realized something important. Patience doesn't just save money, it protects clarity. Impatient traders experience the market like a blur. Candles feel fast. Decisions feel urgent. Everything seems to demand immediate action. That speed creates pressure. Pressure creates mistakes. Patient traders live in a different timeline. When you stop forcing trades, the market doesn't speed up, it slows down. Patterns become obvious. Fake setups start looking cheap. You begin to notice how often price tries to trick you before doing anything meaningful. It's like stepping back from a noisy crowd. Suddenly, you can hear individual voices instead of chaos. This is where most traders get confused. They think patience is about being calm. It's not. It's about creating distance between stimulus and response. Price moves. You don't react. You observe. That gap, just a few seconds longer than everyone else, changes everything. Because inside that space, emotions lose their grip. Fear doesn't get to make the decision for you. Hope doesn't rush your entry. You start trading intentions, not impulses. But here's the uncomfortable part no one prepares you for. When you slow down, you start noticing how often you used to be wrong. How many trades you took just to feel involved. How many losses weren't bad luck, but bad timing. That realization hurts. Some traders run from it. They speed back up. They drown awareness with activity. They'd rather feel busy than honest. Others stay. And that's when the mindset shifts. They stop asking, how can I trade more? They start asking, what's worth my attention? 4. Why calm traders aren't braver, just clearer. People assume calm traders are fearless. They're not. They feel the same tension when money is on the line. Same tight chest. Same awareness that one bad decision can cost hours, days, sometimes weeks of progress. The difference is what they do with that feeling. I once sat behind a trader during a volatile session. Big candles. Fast moves. The kind of market that pulls people in like gravity. Traders around him were clicking non-stop entries, exits, re-entries. Screens flashing. Voices frustrated. He placed one trade. Then he leaned back. No panic. No staring. No second guessing. When the trade stopped out, he didn't flinch. When it worked, he didn't celebrate. He simply closed the platform and walked away. Later I asked him how he stayed so calm. He said something that stuck with me. I already accepted the loss before I entered. That's the part most traders skip. Impatient traders enter hoping to win. Patient traders enter prepared to lose. And that mental shift changes how stress works. When you need a trade to work, your nervous system stays on high alert. Every tick feels personal. You micromanage. You interfere. You sabotage your own execution trying to feel safe. But when the outcome is already accepted, the mind quiets down. You stop fighting reality. This is why patient traders don't burn out as quickly. They aren't constantly negotiating with the market. They aren't emotionally leveraged. Each trade is just one small decision in a long series, not a verdict on their skill or self-worth. Ironically, this makes them more dangerous. Because calm creates precision. They wait longer. They enter cleaner. They exit without drama. While others are mentally exhausted by noon, patient traders still have energy, because they didn't spend it arguing with price. This doesn't mean they trade less forever. It means they trade less until it matters. And when it matters, they're fully present. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Stress isn't caused by risk. It's caused by uncertainty you refuse to accept. Once you make peace with loss, impatience loses its grip. The market stops feeling like an enemy and starts feeling like a landscape one you move through carefully, not aggressively. 5. The illusion of missing out. There's a moment when patient traders start to doubt themselves. It usually happens after a strong move. Price explodes in one direction. Social feeds light up. Screenshots everywhere. People celebrating wins, calling it obvious, saying things like, if you didn't catch this, what are you even doing? And the patient trader? They're flat. No position. No screenshot. No story to tell. This is where most people break. Because missing out hurts more than losing. A loss can be justified. FOMO feels like failure. I watched a trader once during a massive breakout day. Clean move. Textbook momentum. Everyone was in. Everyone made money. He didn't take a single trade. Later that evening, someone asked him why. He smiled and said, that move wasn't for me. At first, it sounded like denial. But weeks later, it made sense. That breakout happened after 3 sloppy sessions. No structure. No clear build-up. If he had chased it, it would have broken his rules, not because the trade was bad, but because the process would have been. Patient traders don't judge success by what they catch. They judge it by what they refuse to chase. This is the fox mindset in its most misunderstood form. From the outside, it looks like hesitation. Like fear. Like hesitation disguised as discipline. But inside, it's something else entirely. It's trust. Trust that opportunities are not rare. Trust that the market will offer another chance. Trust that forcing a trade today steals clarity from tomorrow. Impatient traders trade every move like it's the last one. Patient traders know the market will still be there when they're ready. And here's the twist most people don't see coming. The more moves you don't chase, the sharper your instincts become. Because when you finally act, it's not out of desperation. It's out of recognition. You're not hoping. You're responding. That's why patient traders often catch the moves that matter most. Not the loud ones. Not the flashy ones. The clean, quiet setups that unfold exactly as planned. While others are exhausted from chasing everything, the patient trader is fresh, mentally clear, emotionally steady, ready. 6. How patience turns into quiet confidence. Confidence in trading doesn't arrive the way people expect. It doesn't show up after a huge win. It doesn't come from calling the top or bottom. And it definitely doesn't come from being right all the time. Real confidence builds in silence. I knew a trader who went through a rough month, losses, small mistakes, nothing catastrophic, but enough to test anyone. What surprised me wasn't that he stayed calm. It was how little he changed. Same routine. Same rules. Same level of selectiveness. While others would have doubled size or chased faster setups to make it back, he waited. Some days he didn't trade at all. Not because he was scared, but because nothing met his standard. At the end of that month, he wasn't up much. But something else had happened. He trusted himself. That trust is everything. Patient traders don't gain confidence from winning. They gain it from consistency. From showing up and doing the same thing regardless of outcome. From knowing that even during drawdowns, they're still operating from logic, not emotion. This is why patience compounds. Every trade you skip that doesn't fit your plan reinforces discipline. Every day you protect your energy sharpens judgment. Every loss you accept without spiraling strengthens emotional control. Slowly, uncertainty loses its power. The market still moves. Losses still happen. But they no longer shake your identity. You stop asking, what if I'm wrong? You start asking, did I execute correctly? That shift changes everything. Because confidence based on outcomes is fragile. One bad week can destroy it. But confidence based on process, that survives volatility. That survives drawdowns. That survives silence. And here's the part most people miss. Patient traders don't feel confident before they trade. They feel confident after, because they honored their rules. That's why their presence feels different. No urgency. No forcing. No emotional noise. Just clarity. 7. The moment most traders ruin everything. There's a dangerous moment in every trader's journey. It doesn't come at the beginning. It doesn't come during heavy losses. It comes right after things start working. You follow your rules. You wait more. You trade less. Results stabilize. Maybe you string together a few good weeks. Nothing crazy, but steady. And then a quiet thought slips in. I've figured it out. That thought is subtle. It doesn't feel arrogant. It feels earned. Logical. Like a reward for all the patience. This is where most traders break the fox mindset. I watched it happen to someone who had finally slowed down. He was selective. Calm. Profitable enough to feel relief. One day, he took a trade that almost fit his rules. Almost. He told himself experience justified it. That intuition mattered now. That rules were training wheels. The trade lost. No big deal. So he took another one, same logic. That lost too. Within a week, he was back to overtrading. Back to watching every tick. Back to feeling that familiar tension in his chest. Not because the market changed, but because he did. Patience doesn't fail because it's weak. It fails because success makes people careless. The fox doesn't hunt more just because it ate yesterday. But traders do. They increase size too fast. They loosen criteria. They confuse confidence with permission. This is the final psychological trap. Believing discipline is optional once you're good enough. It's not. Discipline is the edge. Patient traders who last understand this. The moment you feel relaxed about your rules is the moment you need them most. Consistency isn't maintained by effort. It's maintained by humility. The fox mindset survives because it never assumes the market owes it anything. Every day is treated as neutral. Every trade is earned. Nothing is chased. Nothing is forced. This is why long-term winners often look boring. They don't talk much. They don't flex. They don't suddenly change who they are after a good run. They protect the mindset that got them there. 8. Becoming the fox. Eventually, every trader reaches a quiet fork in the road. Nothing dramatic happens. No big loss. No massive win. Just a choice. Do you keep chasing the feeling? Or do you commit to the process? This is where the fox mindset fully takes shape. The patient trader stops trying to beat the market. Stops proving anything. Stops measuring worth by daily results. Trading becomes less emotional, less noisy, almost boring to watch from the outside. But inside, something powerful locks in. They no longer rush mornings. They no longer fear slow days. They no longer need constant action to feel productive. They show up, observe, and wait. Some days they trade. Most days they don't. And that's the point. Because the fox doesn't hunt every hour. It hunts when the conditions are right. When energy, timing, and probability align. Everything else is conservation. That's how traders last. Not by being the smartest. Not by predicting every move. But by protecting mental capital as fiercely as money. Markets will change. Strategies will stop working. Drawdowns will happen. But the fox mindset survives all of it. Why? Because patience isn't tied to conditions. It's internal. It doesn't disappear when volatility spikes or setups dry up. It adapts. It waits. It preserves clarity until the edge returns. This is why patient traders quietly outlast everyone else. While others burn out trying to force consistency, they let consistency emerge. While others confuse motion with progress, they understand restraint is progress. And one day, without announcing it, without celebration, they look back and realize something. They didn't just become better traders. They became harder to break. If you've made it this far, you already feel it. That pull towards slowing down. Toward doing less, but doing it right. Toward trading like someone who plans to be here for years, not weeks. That's the fox mindset. And once you adopt it, the market stops feeling like a battlefield. And starts feeling like a long game you finally know how to play. If this video felt slow, if it felt different from the usual trading content, that wasn't an accident. Because the fox mindset isn't built for hype. It's built for longevity. Most people watching trading videos are looking for speed. Shortcuts. That one idea that will fix everything overnight. But the traders who actually make it, the ones who stay sane, consistent, and alive in the market, they learn to slow down long before the market forces them to. If something in this series hit close to home, if you recognized your own habits, your own struggles, your own impatience, that's a good sign. It means you're becoming aware. And awareness is where real change starts. Trading doesn't get easier when you know more strategies. It gets easier when you stop fighting yourself. So if this video helped you see patience differently, even just a little, let me know. Drop a comment below and tell me what part stood out the most, or where you're currently stuck in your trading journey. I read them. And chances are, someone else needs to see your comment too. If you know a trader who's burned out, someone who's overtrading, forcing setups, or close to quitting, share this with them. Not to teach them a strategy, but to remind them there's another way to approach the market. And if you want more content like this, less noise, more clarity, make sure you subscribe. This channel isn't about chasing trades. It's about building a mindset that survives long enough to win. The market will still be here tomorrow. The question is, will your patience be? Trade less. Think deeper. And remember, the quiet ones last the longest.